Like, it's never enough. I've said this about, it's not enough that we protect certain people's freedom of expression. They want to force you to sit there and listen to them. Here we go. This comes courtesy of the Friendly Atheist. Columbus School District bans candy bribes used to lure kids to Bible class. This is their marketing approach now. This is the way they're getting the kids in, getting ready, primed, ripe for indoctrination. Not for anything else. You know, I think maybe you thought I was going to go down a different path there. As soon as I said ripe. No, just ripe for indoctrination. Ripe for religious brainwashing. You got to get them in early, guys. The Columbus City School District in Ohio adopted a new policy to crack down on religious groups using treats to entice students to attend meetings. Like, is this seriously how they're getting, like, the numbers up now? Is it? Like, religion in general across the West is really struggling to find new recruits these days. Possibly because there's so much evidence all around us that God is dead. There is no God. How could you look at the way that the world is now and go, yeah, this totally I can see that it's all part of a compassionate and good master plan. So I was frittering before. I was beginning to question my faith, guys. But then I saw the reemergence of polio and measles. So now I can see now. God is very much alive and with us. It says, an Ohio school district has revised its policy allowing students to legally skip school in order to take Bible indoctrination classes, to say that the groups running those classes cannot give students candies and toys to help lure their classmates to the religious lessons. I mean, I'm sort of surprised that's even allowed. Like, I'm not saying that every priest out there or every representative of every offshoot of Christianity is a raging fucking pedophile. I'm not saying that. That is not what this show is about, guys. Casting aspersions on the good people of the church. But I am saying that if you were a representative of the church, if you were even half politically aware or socially aware of the reputation of priests, I would have thought it would be in your interest to be like, should we hand out candies to lure in children? You should be like, no. Are you insane? No, we're not going to be pictured or reported as having done that. Like, if somebody asked the minister or the bishop how we go about repairing the brand of the Catholic Church after all of the pedophile scandals, how do we do that? Oh, you should definitely try luring school children out of school to follow you with your sweets, with your trail of sweeties. Are you insane? Have you got any understanding of PR? Like, I tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of this story that we covered, the Detroit priest, host of Exorcist Files, who used girls' hair to floss his own teeth. And it's like, it's not even the things that they do. It's not even the things that they say or how they behave. It's the total absence of appreciation for how it looks for a priest or for a representative of the Christian church to be behaving that way. The tunnel vision, the total lack of self-awareness. It says, all of this is happening just as Ohio institutes a new law requiring all districts to have some kind of religious released time policy. If you've heard anything about released time, it probably centers around a Christian ministry called Lifewise Academy. Don't know if you guys have ever heard about this. Not something I'm familiar with. Which offers Bible classes that students are meant to take during the school day. Lifewise takes care of the curriculum, staff, and background checks. Local chapters, usually churches, can tap into the network for use in their own local public school districts. It says students then go to those churches during the school day, get their dose of biblical indoctrination, then return to school for the rest of the afternoon. I mean, even just the idea of missing chunks of your day at school where you are actually learning, in theory, proper stuff. Life lesson-y, maths, English, science stuff. You're missing that to go and hang out in a church and learn about the bearded ghosty man who lives up in the clouds. That's what is happening here, is it? Technically, release time policies are religiously neutral, it says. Any organisation is allowed to offer these classes to students. Parents have to opt in to letting their kids participate. No school funds are used for them. For example, if students are transported to a local church for these lessons, the church has to pay for the buses. Students also have to make up any missed assignments. They also can't skip certain core classes like English or maths. Okay, all right. It's not totally reckless and irresponsible, just a bit weird. NBC News reported in March 2024 that Lifewise now has chapters in more than 300 schools in a dozen states, teaching 35,000 public school students. And then that's 30,000 future MAGA voters, Republican voters, probably flunk out of high school, no degree, end up on Social Security. And the circle goes around again. The program was so disruptive that last year the Westerville City Schools announced it would get rid of its release time policy entirely. The Worthington City Schools did the same thing, which is yeah, right? Because if you were trying to run a school and then half of the students come from gaudy families, and the gaudy families are like, yeah, we want to sign you up to go and learn about Jesus. And then they, leave, and then half the class don't understand the next lesson when that comes around. Like, Mary Jane, we're trying to do the algebra here. Now, you got all your sums wrong on the homework. Now, if you got something to say, you say it to the whole class now. She turns around like she's just been interrupted. She's like, what did you say? I said, God damn it, you got to study, girl. You're going to grow up stupid. You're never going to get a job. Is that what you want? She can't even spell algebra, let alone do it. Doesn't care if she could do algebra or studying or any of that nonsense. She's got a mouthful of sugar, mouthful of candy at 13 years old, hand on the Bible, and she's fucking pregnant. Probably. I don't know. That is the vibe that I'm getting from this story. Is the schools probably hate it. It probably is disruptive. They're trying to run the lesson plan. Half of the kids go off to some fucking church down the road, get lured away with a trail of candy. Then it says, the program was so disruptive that last year the Westerville City Schools announced it would get rid of its released time policy entirely. The Worthington City Schools group, I guess, did the same thing. That infuriated Republicans so much that they decided to pass a law requiring schools to adopt released time. Like, it's never enough. I've said this about, 2 or 3 times about different, again, offshoots of conservatism, though, where it is not enough. It's never enough for them to be able to harp on about not being censored and about how their freedom of speech has to be respected and protected at all costs. That is not enough. Like, whether it is the impending decimation and destruction of blue sky, which I still think will happen, they'll find some problem with it, or whether it is the mandatory nature of this released time, the fact that you have to go to the local church. And listen, it's not enough that we protect certain people's freedom of expression. They want to force you to sit there and listen to them. It says, earlier this year, Governor Mike DeWine signed into law House Bill 8, a Republican-backed bill known as the Parents' Bill of Rights. It goes into effect on April the 9th. While most of the bill deals with sex education and LGBTQ issues, and it's written by a Republican, you say? Oh, well, I'm sure it's definitely sane, modern, inclusive, and science-based. There's a one-word change in the law regarding released time policies. Instead of allowing school districts to offer that time, the law will now force them to offer it. So, it says if a school district wasn't allowing released time before, they will have to now. And that's a huge gift to Christian nationalists because it's usually evangelical Catholic churches that have the resources to offer these courses and pay for the costs associated with them. I mean, can we crowdfund like a mosque thing? Just to fuck with them? Can we please do that? Let's have a round robin. Let's crowdfund a couple of little school buses to ship white nationalist gaudy Christian kids. Lure them into mosques with a trail of juicy fruits and get them to learn about Allah. Let's do that. I'm sure they'll be like super supportive of it. I'm sure they will love it for this released time that they mandatorily want to offer everyone. I'm sure that definitely won't be reported as part of some grooming process. Like Darren Grimes will be all over it. It'd be part of like the Muslim grooming gang sting. I mean, the other funny thing about this will be the side effects of the policy in like 10 years' time, 15 years' time. Because if you think of it like socio-economically, if you think about it like what's going to come out the other end of this, likely will be the outcome that white Christian nationalist children who are more likely to go to these like little gaudy Bible classes, right? They will then be more likely to fall behind because they've missed out on this lesson or that module or this piece of homework, right? So academically, they fall behind. But then spool forward to what happens a few years down the line when the Muslim kids, the Jewish kids, excel academically because they didn't miss any of their lessons. They all get like A's and B's. It's like, where will the hate and the anger and the jealousy go then? When Cletus and Mary Jane are looking out over the street and they're like, hey, how come Mohammed's got such a big house and we still living in a trailer? How come our children got measles, but their children are all healthy? That don't make no sense. That's what I want to walk past and go like, look, I know doesn't seem fair. I know probably makes you angry. I understand that. But if it helps, if you need something, some sort of bit of, sugar on the medicine to help it go down, some way of making it make sense to you. Try and think of it like this, Cletus. It's all part of God's plan. It's all part of God. Like, isn't that how it works? That's how it works. God moves in mysterious ways, Cletus.